Welcome to TOTE's YouTube channel. It's a big edition here, brought to you by Sports Hub, and we're talking about the Tasmanian Oaks Wednesday night live at Mowbray. Our first trip up to Mowbray. Shane Donoghue's with me. Can you tell us how much we're looking forward to this trip up to the north of the state?
Well, I've been waiting for this all carnival, Flush. Yeah. My first trip to Royal Mowbray, so it's going to be a learning experience, if nothing else.
It's a big day, no doubt about it. The card's outstanding. The Gold Sovereign Stakes for the 2-year-olds will be on earlier, and of course the George Adams Plate over 1,600 metres. Can Youthful Jack step up to the mile on a distance it's never won before? So plenty to see. And there's a lot of doubts, and of course Barrish Quest in that race too. We're going to talk about that shortly. So a lot of form starting to come through now, Shane. A lot of these horses have run 1, 2, 3 times over the last month or so. So we get to, I guess, read the form a little bit closer. Of course, a lot of horses previously have come down from Melbourne, and we've tried to put them all together. Most of them are now racing against each other.
Well, they're all 2, 3 runs into their prep now, Flush. So it'll make or break them tonight or on Wednesday night. So, and then we'll see those that win on on Oaks night.
Yes.
Whether or not they can back up and go to the big day on Launceston Cup the week after.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon, of course. Wednesday night is a night edition, as it always is at Mowbray. But going forward to the Cup, it will be the annual day, the midweek bonanza up in Launceston, of course. Without the uni students and the Eskies, unfortunately, to our uni students, friends. We might have just been one of those a few years ago myself. But no, it's still a good day, isn't it? They've got 18,000 or 19,000 people. And the Cup, we don't know what's going to happen yet. Will GG's Black Flash come down? They
haven't brought the weights out for the Cup yet.
No, so
eagerly await that. Probably tomorrow or the next day. That's going to be fantastic.
Norski too might be interested to see where that comes down to, but we'll certainly bring it to you live here on Sports Hub when we do. The first race show we need to talk about is the Gold Sovereign Stakes, and it's for the 2-year-old. The second 2-year-old big race we have here on the summer program, of course. But it's a little bit of a different field this year. And just quickly, Shane, going to go through my tips quickly. Race 5 is the Gold Sovereign Stakes, Shane, the first race we want to talk about. And an interesting race. A couple of lightly raced horses and a couple have been going around quite a bit the last month or two. For me, Tiger's Cub out of the Jim Mason stable for Craig Newitt looks the one to beat. For second, Chennai Warrior's the interesting runner. Won over Sandown over 950 metres there recently. Moore's coming over. Daniel Moore's going to ride that one too. I'm going to put that in for second. And Western Hero, which has been right around the mark. D Dunn, the new runner, which is interesting. The new rider is interesting. I'm going to put that in for third. I know that's the one you like, Shane.
I do like Western Hero Flash, and for me, it finishes on top. Finished off very well behind Tiger's Cub last start. It's got Dwayne Dunn on board, as you mentioned, and I expect him to go one better this start. Second place, King Cara Miss. Out of the David Hayes stable. Hasn't had a run yet, mate, but anything that comes out of the David Hayes stable and with the breeding out of Fastnet Rock, I'm expecting to be a massive danger. For third, I'll go for Kenjawood, along with Western Hero last start behind Tiger's Cub.
Yes.
Finished off well. Kelvin Sanderson gets a ride at 57 kilos. I think that will perform well.
Interesting. Now, we've got the indicative prices there, Shane, at the moment.
We have Western Heroes is $7. Your man, Craig Newitt on Tiger's Cub, $3. Kenjawood $7, Chain Warrior $4, King Cara Miss $8. So it's a pretty open field. Don't really know where we're going to go there.
Okay, all right. Well, closely monitor the betting as we go on. It looks a tough race to win. I reckon the next one's a little bit easier, Shane. We're talking about the Tasmanian Oaks.
Oh, big race.
Over 2,100 metres, of course. Temper Tantrum will be the favourite, backing up again from its outstanding win a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely brilliant win. Mate, you spoke to Reece McLeod after that race. Why don't we just have a bit of listen to Reece McLeod and see what he had to say after that race?
Here with the Strut Stakes winner, Reece McLeod. Reece, firstly, outstanding ride tactically. You really stacked them up before the turn.
Yeah, that's right. You know, when you sit second in a race, you sort of dictate how the race is going to run. So I was pretty pleased with where I was. If we can get it that cheap, might as well.
Tell us about Temper Tantrum. Of course, had a couple of wins at Cranbourne and Werribee over the mile, straight up to the 2,100 today. Was this the game plan the Strut Stakes was always in, or almost the last sort of minute?
After its first win, he said, I reckon we're aiming for this. Yes. When it won at Werribee, it was a bonus, but he was always going to come here, So today was its test, and now it'll probably go to the Oaks with a good chance.
Really popped the question at the top of the turn there. He just seemed to kick and start. He's obviously got the cheap sectionals earlier, but it certainly saw out the 2100 today.
Yeah, no dramas today. These 3-year-old fillies races, they're just got to be tough to win over a mile and a quarter, and she's a tough little thing. She's got to be right in the race in a couple of weeks' time.
And the best for the rest of the day. What have you?
I'm all done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Oh,
I won the race previous, so 2 for 2, so that's right.
You might have earned yourself a video.
I think so. I'll have a few, I reckon.
Thanks for joining us on Sports Hub, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you, Reece.
Reece McClure, they've done such a good job with this horse to come and win those couple of races over the mile. One really come to the way it fought on at Elwick was superb, and you just can't help but think that it's going to go sustain that sort of form. I would have thought from what we saw at Elwick the other week. Tempered Tantrum is going to be that's a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah. Hard one to beat. That's going to win the race, I would have thought. The other one I like this shown is Annaline, another horse for George Blacker and the informed Peter Mertens, which has been running quite well too. So I'm going to put that for second. It wasn't a bad run behind Leyland the other night, only beaten 2.2 lengths. So over the 1600 metres, up to the 2100, of course, this time. I think that's going to be in there with a sneaky chance. And for third, I'm booking Candela for Dwayne Dunn out of the Matthew Ellerton stable.
Well, mate, you can get $4.20 for Candela, and Lean $5. Tempered Tantrum at the short odds of $3. And
now, is that short?
Well,
to me, that looks a good price.
Well, it's a very good horse.
Yeah.
Gee, they talked it up before its last start, and
it paid well too.
Paid well, won with ease. So, look, I'm definitely going with Temper Tantrum. Absolutely my pick. Gigi's Laquita, who it's a favourite of ours here on the show. We picked it last start. Temper Tantrum got the chocolates. I'm going to switch around now. Temper Tantrum is definitely the horse to beat. And look, Oxy Angel probably fill the minor placings. And you could probably get good each way odds of $35 for Oxy's Angel. So,
okay, interesting one there, Shane. Of course, Craig Newitt going on to Oxy Angel as well, which is
it must be a plus. Has to be a plus.
Always is, especially in Launceston where he's just so dominant, the froggy one. The George Adams played over a mile, Shane. It's an interesting race, and I found this pretty tough to analyse. And I know you thought it was a bit more clear cut to me. The reason I found it tough was Youthful Jack. It's been a stalwart down here in Tasmania. It looks rejuvenated. It's won a couple of races so efficiently and done really well over the 1200 metres and the 1400 metres. This time, stepping up to the mile, it's never won over a mile. So that just is a little bit query for me. Certainly the class edge, there's no doubt about it. Youthful Jack has had it. I want to go right down the bottom to Barish Quest, coming back in distance back to the mile. I know which is a tough gig, but for Gary Wright and Craig Newitt, they thought they didn't have the best of luck in the last start. No, they're talking with Gary. So I'm going to put that on top from Youthful Jack. And one of those really super consistent horses for Royston Carr, we're talking about Rave Knight, of course. It just keeps running well, and I expect that to be close to run the place. And again, for David Perez.
Now, mate, just before I go to my tips, you had a really good chat with Robbie Thompson. What a great hoop he is.
Well, what doesn't Robbie do? I mean, he's a farmer. He loves his red wine, and in between he comes down and rides a lot of good winners, and we caught up with Robbie the other week.
With Robbie Thompson, the Thomas Line's been running one. Congratulations, mate. You look to have him covered well before the turn.
Thank you. It was just a little bit sluggish the first half of the race and all that, but very happy from the 600 metres on. He come up, he had to just cover a little bit of ground, but he sort of pulled me up to him and all that, and he was going pretty good on the turn.
You love coming to Hobart. You've been coming here for many, many years. Tell us, you're an amazing athlete. You just keep going year after year. How do you do it?
I don't know, probably good living, And that I come from the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, so it might be all that good red wine, But no, this is the only job I've ever had, and I love it. And a couple of trips down here now, and it's been very successful. So no, it's good.
Tell me, you base yourself still. You don't go into the city a hell of a lot still, do you, these days? You're happy to be close to your roots, the good wine country, as you mentioned?
That's it. I come from a place called Cessnock. I was bred and born there, and I've lived there all my life, and I'm still there now, and I'm only a couple of hours away from Sydney, and it's always nice to go down there when I get a nice horse to ride. But I've got plenty of stables that I ride for around my area, so I'm happy doing that.
And Youthful Jack, is there another race in Tasmania lined up, do you think?
There is one more back during the week at Launceston, I think there's another weight for age race on. It's over 1,600 metres. So,
quick back up.
So I would imagine if he backs up good and all that, I'd imagine he'll go around in that race as well.
Lovely to see you down here, mate, and congratulations on a terrific ride today.
Thanks very much, and it's a pleasure to talk to you.
I love Robbie Thompson. He is a stalwart of the racing industry. He just rides winners at will.
Yeah, he does.
And look, he must enjoy himself up there in the Cessnock region. Obviously gets a few rides up there, so good on him. Look, I don't think he's going to win, however.
Okay, no.
I'm going to go with my man, Ronan Keogh.
Now, come on. You're hanging on here, or you're confident?
This is his last chance.
Yep.
He finally gets a good barrier. He's at a barrier 7. He's
talking about Relentless Pursuit.
Relentless Pursuit, of course, yes. Gets a very good barrier 7, as I said. I can see Ronan getting the kick out of the gates. I can see him just getting one out, one back around the turn, and then just going whack, whack, whack down the straight. So, Ronan, get him home, and you'll get very good odds of Relentless Pursuit. Youthful Jack Robbie Thompson on board. He's got nearly $1 million in the saddlebags now, so he's definitely the class horse. And you spoke about Barris Quest. That's definitely going to finish there.
Now, just for the people listening, just the indicative prices. These aren't official TOTE fixed odds just yet, folks. We'll get them to you shortly. But these are the indicative prices.
Well, Youthful Jack's at $280. We can get $51 for Lockett and Eddie, which has had a few starts now. The Too Many Reds, $10. But just for our picks, Relentless Pursuit, $35.
$35, Shane Donoghue on top.
Lazy $35. Barris Quest, $8.50. And Boogie Dancer. Now, if you look back through the YouTube channel, you'll see an interview that young Flush has done with Froggy Newitt after his ride on Boogie Dancer. Craig Newitt was very up and about. Well,
it was a good ride from Craig, in fairness, but got the split, did it on the rail, and put a couple of lengths on him pretty quickly. Yep. The reason, obviously, with Craig going to Barris Quest, that certainly tipped the scales. Boogie Dancer would definitely be my next one at about $16.
Yes, and one of your mates too got the Rave Knight in the field, and that raced pretty well last start as well. So look, some open bit of value there.
Yeah, a few of the lads from the Clarence Football Club are involved in that. Yes, OHA Football Club, some of the Swan boys. So they've had a pretty good ride with a really consistent horse, which gives 100% every week.
Every week.
The third leg of the quad is Shane. It's getting about late, 25 past 10 on Wednesday night. It's the Examiner Class 1 handicap. Shane, and how'd you see him?
Well, look, mate, Anthony Darmanin for Team Brunton. They're on short story. Definitely the form horse coming into the race. I'm going to go from that to be Glisten with Craig Newitt and Gary White, and Certain Shine, Kelvin Sanderson for Tammy Mulross.
Yeah, Glisten for me for Craig Newitt. Short story. We'll be running second, is the way I'm tipping them. And right at the top, Atlantic King there with Robbie Thompson. I expect Robbie's just going to get that. Something went wrong last start. It was $5 in the market, got beaten 17 lengths. It's a lot better horse than that. So I'm expecting improvement. Yeah, I think so. And Robbie Thompson's going to be a big price too.
Okay.
Race 10, Shane, the last leg of the quaddie. So we'll be getting ready for Launceston Cup by the time this one comes along. It's a good race. It's an even race. And how'd you see him?
Wide open spaces for me, Flash. Talia Rider for Charlie Goggin and Llewellyn Milburn. Looks the good, so I looked at the form and should run very well. And just a bit of a smoky there. So far, so good. Anthony Darmanin again for Team Brunton. Owned by a mate of mine, Troy Stewart, who gave me a bit of mail on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of money on it each way. And to finish it off, Dangerous Gigi, Edward Brennan for John Luttrell.
Banker Mo for me, the top weight, Shane. I had a couple of excuses for the Brunton stable. Craig Newitt keeps the run. That should be winning for me. Durham Sander, another one too, which is I expect just to improve a little bit. It's going to be quite a good price, I would imagine.
Definitely the danger, Durham.
Third one for me was So Fast, So Good. So it's it's a thinnish race, the last one, but certainly there's a lot of horses in the field, 15 horses, so there's an opportunity there to get some value in that last. The Get Out Stakes at Launceston. Shane, plenty to look forward to. We've got the Launceston Cup coming up in a week or so, of course. Just quickly, we didn't touch on the Black Caviar, magnificent on the weekend.
We'll talk a bit more about Black Caviar in our show on Friday.
A special
very special show of Black Caviar. But yeah, look, 18 in a row.
Yeah.
It's
19.
19 in a row.
Might even back up to on the
in the futurity.
Yep.
That's going to be fantastic if it does. And then, look, that might be the last time we see it here in Australia. So
question marks on whether it's going to run the spring, of course, going forward. Not yet too sure on either way.
More about that now of the show.
So it's a big show too. Yeah, stay tuned for our Launceston Cup show. It's going to be full of information. Do you want to get to the biggest cup? Do you want to know all the information? My man here reckons he knows all about it. I know a little bit about it, so we're going to stay tuned and watch us here on TOTE Sports Hub YouTube channel, brought to you by Sports Hub. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll catch you on Launceston Cup week at Mowbray next week.
See ya.